Hello, welcome to the channel. My name's Matthew, and on this channel we kind of talk about ship stuff and maritime related content. Now in this video I'm going to be talking about what subjects do deck cadets do in the Merchant Navy. So I did my training at South Shields Marine School over in the UK. Now when you do a cadetship in the UK, it's 3 years long, and 2 of those years will be at college and 1 year is going to be at sea. So in this video I'll be talking about that first year in college and the subjects you can expect to be doing. Now what I really liked about this course was that the subjects are really varied. So you'll notice that some subjects are really wordy kind of based, whereas there's other subjects that are really more number based, so a lot more maths kind of mental thinking. Now I really enjoyed that because I kind of like the both, probably lean more towards the number side of things, but this is the sort of course that you kind of want to be an all-rounder at. It's good to be good at everything kind of thing. So looking back at my first year, we had 6 courses that we did, and in those 6 courses you had several units in each one that you'd get examined on throughout the year. Now without further ado, I'll just get straight into it. So I'll start off by talking about operational navigation. Now what I enjoyed about this course was that it's kind of old school. A lot of the things we learned in there we don't really use at sea anymore because everything's like electronic and done by computers, but it's still very important to understand, and I enjoyed looking at how things were done before, and you really get to respect the skill of being a seafarer. So the first unit of that is CELNAV, or Celestial Navigation, and this is really teaching you how to use celestial navigation as a means of navigation at sea. So basically we're learning about how to use a sextant with the stars, the planets, the sun, the moon, but then we're also learning all the calculations like an azimuth and amplitude, a meridian passage and intercept. So those are some that we need to learn, and then you get examined on those. So that's kind of like a number kind of based subject that you do. So now the other 3 units are chart work, sailings and tides. So they're kind of linked together, and I'm pretty sure they become one exam. But basically it's learning how to use charts, and then also learning about tides, so how to calculate what the tides are going to be at different ports. And then sailings, that's how we calculate distances along the surface of the earth. Now I did a video on sailings, so if you want to check that out, just hit this little link here and it'll bring you to it. So another course you do is bridge management. Now this was split up into 3 units, the first being watchkeeping bridge management. So that's really learning about how to be a watchkeeper, how to hand over the watch, how to maintain a safe navigational watch. So there's a few things you learn in there, which was quite interesting. The next unit was maneuvering and rules of the road. So here you learn about different kind of maneuvers the ship can do and how it moves in the water. So you're looking at things like pivot points. And then rules of the road is basically following the collision regulations, and it's all these rules on how to avoid collision when navigating at sea. And the third unit was meteorology, and this was quite interesting, learning about the weather, how it works, how to read synoptic charts, and also how to use different meteorology instruments and how to predict different kinds of weather. So the next course is ship operations. Now this is split into 2 units, the first being ship stability. So with stability there's a lot of maths involved, a lot of numbers, and it's really just looking at how stability works on a ship. So you're looking at the laws of stability, but then looking at all the formulas that you use to calculate how the ship will move in the water if you move weights around, and how it functions like that. The second unit was cargo operations. Now this is where you learn all about cargo and the procedures for doing it and all the safety behind it. And so you basically look at things like bulk carriers, so all the dry cargoes, and you look at liquid cargoes, which is tankers, oil tankers, chemical tankers, container ships, and then you also look at ro-ro and passenger vessels, so looking at all those kind of passenger operations. So next there is the introduction to naval architecture and engineering. Now even though we're working towards being a deck officer, we still have to have an understanding of engineering. So that's what this engineering course is. You really learn all the basics of engineering, how engines work, the different parts. You also learn about different things around the engine room like refrigeration systems, sewage systems, freshwater generators and things like that. Now the other unit was construction and structural features. Now this is really looking at how ships are built, the framework and the stresses and strains that ships will experience when they're at sea. So another thing we do is navigational aids. Now this is where you look at different equipments that you'll have on the bridge, and the main one that we looked at in year one was compasses. So you're looking at magnetic compasses and gyro compasses. So you're learning about how they work, how we use them, and the different parts of them. So I found that quite interesting. It was kind of complicated, but once you get your head around it, it is quite fascinating. And then you also will learn about things like radar, AIS, GPS, etc., etc. Now the last thing that we did in year one was the work-based learning. Now this is where we had to write a reflective essay on our first sea phase. If I remember correctly, the one I did was about maintenance on board. So it was a 2,000 word essay on maintenance on your first trip at sea. But I think there was a few things you could talk about. Now with this work-based learning, as well as the essay, you also have to do a presentation in front of your class. And it's quite a simple thing, but you basically have a slideshow based kind of on your essay and your experience at sea. And you talk through it in front of the class and you'll get examined on it. And that's all the subjects I did in year one. If you like this video, make sure to like it. And if you're new here and you enjoy this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We've been growing in subscribers, which is so cool to see. I think we're at 64 now. So it's great to see that growing. Hopefully we can get to 100 within the next month. Thanks for watching and see ya.